Chiefs wide receiver JuJu Smith-Schuster took a big shot at Eagles cornerback James Bradberry on Twitter yesterday. Now A.J. Brown has responded, CJ Gardner-Johnson has responded, and even Patrick Mahomes has chimed in. What is going on? Also, Lovie Smith's name has been mentioned as a fit for the Eagles defensive coordinator job. Does that make sense? I'm Thomas Mott. This is The Thomas Mott Show. What's up, guys? Thomas Mott here. Welcome to the Thomas Mott Show on a very dramatic post-Valentine's Day Wednesday. The JuJu Smith-Schuster Twitter, tweet, got a lot of views yesterday, 50 million in total, yet the clapback from A.J. Brown is incredible, and then CJ Gardner-Johnson chimed in. There's a lot going on in terms of post-Super Bowl drama we're going to cover here on the Thomas Mott Show today, and then, of course, follow up with possibly Lovie Smith being the next defensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles, so stay tuned for that. First off, if you don't know what's going on with this whole JuJu tweet, let's start from the beginning and show you where we are at right now. So, on, yesterday afternoon, JuJu Smith-Schuster posted this tweet, you see it on your screen right now, and it says, "I'll hold you when it matters," and it's James Bradberry. Now, at first glance, this is kind of funny, right? It's a little bit funny, and I know we lost the Super Bowl, and so, we got to take stuff like this as kind of the result, but it comes from JuJu Smith-Schuster, and so it's a little bit less funny because he's basically just the TikTok version, or the football version of Patrick Mahomes' TikTok-loving brother. Like, he's kind of annoying. Now, he's not a bad receiver. As we'll look at his numbers, he wasn't necessarily terrible this season, but he's not really one to clap back, especially after not really doing much in the Super Bowl besides having the pivotal hold on him that basically won the Chiefs that game. So this was the original tweet. Now, A.J. Brown, in defense, came right back at JuJu Smith-Schuster and had this. This is fantastic. Listen to this. Quote, "First off, congratulations. Y'all deserve it. This is lame. You was on the way out the league before Mahomes resurrected your career on a one-year deal, TikTok boy. He admitted that he grabbed you, but don't act like you like that or ever was. Big congratulations again." This is how you respond, right? If you want to clap back and defend your teammate, this is how you do it. You admit, hey, congratulations, you win. But this is kind of a lame thing to go ahead and attack my boy James Bradberry. By the way, you really didn't do much this year, and without Patrick Mahomes, you'd basically be nothing, TikTok boy. Again, congratulations. I think that's a really well-done tweet there by A.J. Brown, and it kind of shows you that he kind of took the higher ground while also defending his teammate, and also props to him for defending his teammate. Now, CJ Gardner-Johnson also was defending his teammate, but I think he since deleted some of this stuff here. You see it up on your screen, kind of pulling it all together here. "I got more INTs than Bra had TDs. Maybe I need to change to wide receiver. JuJu ran for me when I checked him in game. Then 10 got his smoke." And then CJ Gardner-Johnson said, "Schoolboys acting gangsta," with a bunch of periods after it. So again, more people coming to his defense. Now, not to be outdone, Patrick Mahomes then sent this tweet yesterday evening where he said, "That man just be bored," which maybe he means JuJu, maybe more likely he means James Bradberry. You can see it's all kind of childish, but a lot of people are talking about this. Not to be outdone, LeGarrette Blount, former Eagle, who likes the Eagles way more than the team he won his first Super Bowl with, the Patriots, he said this: 172 yards in the last 6 games, Super Bowl included, of the season, and no TDs. Who held you then? Don't be a bleep head and continue to play your role on an already great team with a great coach. Congrats to my guy Travis Kelce and the future of the NFL. Patrick Mahomes, y'all did y'all thing." So, again, I'm going to see some comments saying this is dumb, this is useless, but so many people are talking about it, I had to go ahead and mention. It is worth showing you one final tweet here. This was tweeted and then deleted by James Bradberry. "At Eli Apple, I now understand why you do it." You see Barstool quote tweeted said, "Eli Apple villain arc." So, I don't know. It's just fun. It's fun to look at this sort of thing overall. Again, was it really that dramatic of a tweet by JuJu Smith-Schuster? No, but then Twitter blew it up. It got 50 million total views according to the Twitter app. And then, the Eagles came back and defended their boy. We forget that this was a very close-knit football team. I mean, this Eagle team, very similar to 2017, had each other's back basically the entire way, and I like the idea that they went out and defended their guy. Bradberry did not have a great game. Really didn't have that great of a postseason. You make at least a 49er game, but he had a fantastic season, was a top 10 corner easily, and really could have been a Pro Bowler and should have been a first-team Pro Bowler versus potentially being an alternate. Finally, JuJu Smith-Schuster's numbers this year, not anything really that special. 78 catches, 933 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Very much a product of being in the Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid offense. If you would have stayed with the Steelers and been with Mitch Trubisky or Kenny Pickett, these numbers would have been about half what they were, and no one would even remember JuJu Smith-Schuster, was in the league. So thumbs up for this whole fun banter. It's ridiculous. I was going to do a show today breaking down all the free agent stuff, because you guys keep asking me, Thomas, talk about the free agents, talk about the internal team free agents. I was going to do it today, but we're going to save it for either tomorrow or Friday, so subscribe and stay tuned for that because of all the Twitter drama here. Okay, let's go over here to Jacob Media's tweet. I do want to pop this one up here because a lot of people were mentioning this person as a potential replacement for Jonathan Gannon, and it's from Jacob Sports here. Lovie Smith for the Eagles DC, and they quote Derek Gunn by saying, quote, "I'm tap dancing in the streets if you get Lovie Smith to come here as defensive coordinator," end quote. Now, I like the idea of Lovie Smith potentially being the next defensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't know if he's even interested. There's been no actual reporting on this. This is Derek Gunn over at Jacob Media saying who he would like the Eagles to get. I don't hate the idea, but you kind of have to ask the question of, is Lovie Smith's defense last year with the Texans a product of the Texans being a bad football team and Lovie Smith actually being a good defensive coordinator? Or, is it maybe the case that Lovie Smith's not that great of a defensive coordinator as he maybe once was when he took the Bears to the Super Bowl many, many moons ago? You see here, according to the football database, the Texans were the third worst defense in total yards per game, 379 yards per game, which is really not that good. And then you go over here to rushing yards per game, they were worse. They gave up the most rushing yards in the entire National Football League. And then you can reset it to go to passing yards per game, and they were, where are they? I got to figure out where exactly they were. So they, I guess, were a little better in terms of passing yards per game. There they are. They were outside the top 10, so right outside the top 10, or maybe even close. We can do the math. But overall, not a very good defense for Lovie Smith. And again, that's not me saying I don't want Lovie Smith. I think that Lovie Smith is a very interesting option there, and I like the idea of defensive coordinators who become head coaches, who don't do well as head coaches, at least in Houston, and then become D coordinators again. There's a very big list of people who are good at that. Vic Fangio is a great example, right? Great defensive coordinator, hired as a head coach, doesn't do a very good job as a head coach, and then he goes back to being a defensive coordinator. He'll be obviously the one in Miami this year, and I think that he's going to be very good. And so Lovie Smith is a name to keep an eye on here, and definitely one that I would sign off on, but I am curious to see some of the other names. Now, SI.com went ahead and gave you some more names. We talked about these yesterday, but 5 replacement options for Gannon. I want to go through this list really quickly just so we have names that are circling around. That way you know who the person is they hire when they actually do. Now, the number 1 here is Denard Wilson, the passing game coordinator. He was Gannon's right-hand man and apparently is one of the favorites. Now, Philadelphia's been very quiet. I thought they would announce something yesterday. They've been quiet so far on who's going to be their defensive coordinator, but Denard Wilson very much in play. We also talked about Sean Desai. He's the Seattle Seahawks assistant head coach and defensive assistant, and Desai makes a lot of sense. I think that's how you say his name. Desai makes a lot of sense because he's a former Vic Fangio student of the game and was recommended to Sean Payton to be a defensive coordinator in Denver. And so obviously they loved Fangio, and so maybe they could go ahead and get somebody who was a disciple of Fangio's. Keep an eye on the Seahawks assistant head coach. We talked about Nick Rallis being the Eagles linebacker coach. He's just so darn young, 29 years old. He probably will be a defensive coordinator at some point in the league, but 29 is very young. But still, internally, him and Denard Wilson are your 2 options. Then there's Chris Richard, the former co-defensive coordinator of the Saints, also the secondary coach there. He has a very good job in terms of coaching up cornerbacks and kind of figuring out how defenses want to go ahead and play against the pass. And because Philadelphia got shredded a lot in the Super Bowl against the pass, an option thrown out there. And then John Pagano, obviously there's some connection here because of where they were with the Chargers and I believe the Raiders. And so because of the familiarity, it's another name that's thrown up there as well. So a couple of names just to kind of mix in that can potentially be options for Philadelphia. We'll see what happens. I still think Denard Wilson is most likely the lead candidate. I know we keep seeing this whole idea of Seth Joyner being the defensive coordinator. I don't think Seth Joyner wants to be the Eagles' defensive coordinator. I think we'll finish by just mentioning that Seth has a nice media job. He hasn't been in the league in a very, very long time, and the lifestyle between being a media person like me, talking in front of the camera for a couple of minutes every single day, versus being an actual defensive coordinator for 365 days a year is very different. Now, I'm not saying he wouldn't take the job, but I don't think he's that interested in taking the job. And so while a lot of people are saying, go get Brian Dawkins or go get Seth Joyner, we'd like those names because they're former players, but there's no guarantee these former players actually want to commit to the lifestyle and it does take to be a good defensive coordinator in the National Football League, which includes 60, 70, 80-hour weeks. You can kiss your family goodbye during, the entire NFL season and most of the offseason as well. So I would assume it's one of the names that are not former players. It's going to be a Denard Wilson. Well, as in not former Eagle legends like Seth Joyner and Brian Dawkins. So we will go ahead and keep an eye on that. All right, thumbs up, subscribe. I'm going to try to do that free agent video tomorrow. I promise I'm going to get there. I appreciate each and every one of you guys, though, for hanging out on the channel. If you wanted to join and become a member, hit the join button down below and hit that notification bell as well. Thomas Mott, this has been the Thomas Mott Show.